Okay, so welcome to part two of your agenda in the Making Your Bus, Box, Truck, etc. Nomad Life series. Yeah, by me, your host, Predada S, Deep Beyond Above Deep Black, director of the Illuminati, and I guess I might as well just say, overt president of the Illuminati government. Okay, so we left off in when we hold on. Okay, I don't think I talked about my teeth yet. Um, I gotta finish. I got one tooth pulled, and someone helped me so that I could get one of the teeth pulled. I couldn't go back to get my other teeth pulled yet because what I discovered, which I had braces when I was young, and when you're young, you're in school. So what you don't realize if you don't think about it ahead of time, and so I was gonna mention a name because it's like a person who's out there in the entertainment industry who, okay, I won't mention a name. We'll just say it like this. There's certain people in the entertainment industry or other professions, um, and you just kind of look at them like, hey, that's like me, but he's over there, and he's doing the things that I would be doing if I could do those things, that sort of thing. And so I try to put myself in a frame of mind of those people. You want to emulate what it is they're accomplishing. So I've always thought it's a good idea to put myself mentally in their shoes. Like, what do they have to deal with? What do they think about? Stuff like that. And so when I sit here and say, okay, I went and got a tooth pulled, and then afterwards, because I can't maintain the same hygiene level as someone who owns a house or rents an apartment, because my address isn't, I don't have my own apartment. I don't have my own apartment. And we'll just say it like that. And so I'm limited as to what I'm able to do. And then add to that, what happens is, we have black bases, so I can't go there when I want to because I'm never supposed to be there. It's complicated. You have military bases where soldiers go, and then you have secret military bases, and then it just keeps going up higher and higher, deeper and deeper, whatever way you want to look at it. And so you have things like black sites, black bases, and they don't look like military bases. It could be a house. It could be it could look like a school. It could look like a fire department thing. It could look like a store or a mall or an empty field. It could look like, people say, Area 51, there's nothing there. So every time I go to what my address is supposed to be, I'm putting myself in others and existence and the work I got to do and all these other things. I have all these responsibilities, which you do too, but you don't realize it. We'll get into that because this is going to that whole your agenda thing. I guess it's funny how I segued into that. I didn't even do that on purpose. All these responsibilities, and so it's like, okay, on the road, I'm always on the road, and so on the road, you have to learn, be able to get a hold of water and be able to, it takes, what people don't know is it takes like 5 to 10 times longer to do anything, any simple thing. If you want to make your bed in your vehicle, it can take 5 times longer to do that, or 10 times longer than it would if you were in a house or an apartment, or even, renting a room or something. And so, think about it. If it's taking me 5 or 10 times longer to do what you would do, then my day is equal to 1/5 or 1/10 of yours, times 365 days a year, time whatever amount of years. So 100 years from now, you've done 100 years worth of your life of things, but I've only done 10 years worth of your life of things. So you already know how hard it is to get anywhere in life. And then there's a cutoff point, meaning you have to reach a certain goal every day in life, just to not be going backwards, just for your life not to fall apart. These are things I've been learning. So when I was, my tooth got infected, and all I do, I was temp agency picking up garbage. I couldn't even go do that for like a couple of weeks. So whatever money I had in my pocket, and then I didn't have money for food. I didn't have money to pay my cell bill or my insurance. And then, I almost lost my insurance. I almost lost my cell. And I had to just not go get the next tooth done. That one had got infected. I went back for that visit to get it cleaned out. It started trying to get infected again. I did my best to do whatever. I'm not going to say what I did because I don't want you guys, anybody to be, oh, even though he's not saying he's a doctor, he tried this and I tried it and I got sick, or something happened to my kid because they watched this video. I gotta always say, first of all, the videos that I make, even though if I had a child, I would have my child watching everything and paying attention to everything I do. Your child is yours, and you don't want your children necessarily being exposed to the same things I was exposed my children to. I don't agree with that because that's the way why the world is so messed up. But I don't have any control over that. See? Control. Lack of control. Control. Look at this. And so we'll just say I managed to make it so that, as far as I know, the tooth didn't stay infected. And then I had to go back to just work. And, I got this, whatchamacallit back here, this molar back here, all the way in the back. And it cracked because I was eating something and the tooth broke into 3 pieces, and I had to pull it out myself, the pieces. Pull them out, and it didn't pull all of it out, just the top area broken, so this tooth sticking up, and it's all kinds of crazy. And so it's a battle to keep that from getting infected if it's not. And so in all of this, I couldn't go back, or haven't been able to go back, and it's been like, I can't say how long because I'm doing the whole security thing. We'll just say it's been over a year since I got the other tooth pulled out, and the first one, because I need like 12 teeth done. You see this, right? That right there, and then you can't kind of see, I keep it real. And then I need these work done. Then I need that stuff worked done back there. 12 teeth, at least 12 teeth that need to just come out. All the crown stuff, no. 8 minutes in, so see, we're on your agenda thing, right? See what I mean? This is supposed to be about your agenda. It is, but this is more of a segue, I guess. Because remember, I said I was trying to start somewhere that made sense. So this has to all do with, if you are on the road, full time or whatever. So even though it seems off topic, it's not really off topic, because you need to be concerned with this stuff before you get on the road. And so, I haven't been able to get my teeth worked on. And so I was just thinking like, yo, if I was, a particular entertainer that I was thinking of, like, if he was going to go on the road, would that be like one of his first thoughts? Like, yo, because, he's a multi-billionaire, the person I'm thinking of. It's like, yo, would he be like, all right. Oh, and I'll just say this. He's black. So, I try to do that whole thing because it's hard enough for me as a person. If I try to emulate someone who's not the race that I am, I'm kind of just playing myself. I have to be realistic. Like, because I know, I'll just say this part. We as the Illuminati, we have our own central intelligence stuff and all that, which is the first one ever was, and I won't go deep into that. But I think we'll just say it like this: whether you want to think about U.S. government, Central Intelligence Agency, or Central Intelligence Bureau of India, or any of these intelligence services things, I think from that perspective, because I I feel that that's one of the most important perspectives. And having talked to people in the organization, it seems to be that. That's why, like, if you talk about like Central Intelligence Agency of the U.S. government, it's one of the most important agencies. Now, based on who's running it or what their agenda are and all of that stuff, I'm not saying I'm advocating them. What I'm saying to you is, it as it on paper, Central Intelligence Agency, United States government, one of the most important agencies or organizations on the planet. And so that's where everything starts. Before that, it was the Office of Strategic Services, or rather, before CIA, it was CIG. Then before that, it was OSS. And then before that, it was what some people will call COI, Coordinator of Information. Some say Office of the Coordinator of Information. Our organization, one of ours is Office of the Coordinator of Information, and Office of Coordinator of Intelligence, and we call it OCI. And that's where everything starts. So when I said earlier in the other videos before this one, I was saying like what I do in the organization is different than you, but it's the same thing. It's like your daily life it should be that, following that. I could have maybe said it like that if I could learn to speak in shorts. Not shorts like short YouTube video. If I could learn to speak in shorter sentences or whatever, then it would be like that. It would be like, yo, if you lead your life like you work for let's see, one of what is said to be one of the most can I use the word prolific? Haven't forgotten the definition somewhat, but having an idea, remembering what it is about. Prolific organizations, we'll say a couple of them. One is RAW, Research and Analysis Wing of India. Another one is ISI. Don't think of ISIS. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. And then you have ISIS, who is from Egypt. And I'm not going to go down the road right now. But, they try to turn good things into bad stuff. And I'm not saying who in particular, but we'll just say like the entities that control the world. They want to take things that started out good and turn them into bad. So, you have ISIS, and ISIS was a queen in Egypt. And so, but you have ISI. So I just know for a fact, anything that approaches that, your antenna go up like, what's he about to say? It's just natural. And so, Inter-Services Intelligence of Pakistan. And then you have, of course, Mossad. You have, of course, like I said, Central Intelligence Agency. You have, of course, SVR, which has its roots in KGB and things of that nature. I try to think from those perspectives. So, I was like, all right, well, this guy, this entertainer, I wonder if just like automatically, the things it takes me time, be it days or months or years, because literally sometimes it's taking me 10, 20, 30 years to figure something out, like to really figure it out in a particular way, because I look at things my own way, just like maybe you do. You look at things your own way, and then 20 years down the line, something happens, you hear something, see something, you're like, oh snap, that's what that really meant, or that's how I should have been looking at that. If I had led my life according to looking at it like that, my life might be different. I'm hoping you've had those epiphanies. I got that word right, didn't I? Epiphanies. And so, I was just like, yo, I wonder if this guy, like, he just thinks ahead of time, like, yo, when I go to the dentist, the first couple of days I won't be able to work. And then it might get infected, so that might take a week or two out of me working. So I need to have that covered. I need to have the money for that and all that. I didn't know. Yo, I just didn't know. And so I couldn't go, really get my teeth. And so now I'm just sitting here like, yo, everything just keeps coming at me and messing me up. And again, it's, I know the whole topic thing, right? It's like your agenda is the top topic title. But, this is part of that. Just think for a second, like, yo, you're about to, embark on this journey, And suppose you got to play. I don't know how to, you got not play into it. You got to take into account all of these things that have happened in your life so far to get you to right there, and all of the things that have prevented you from getting right there, because maybe it was never your plan, and all the things that have happened that are trying to prevent you from going from right there forward. So, I mean, let's look at a couple of things here, right? There's a lot of people who are not balding. Look at me. Been balding since my early 20s, right? And so I've learned to be accustomed to it. It used to hurt me. You know, you're in your 20s and you're going bald. I don't care what age you're going bald. It's like, oh man, I'm screwed. You know, but as I've gotten older, one of the things I've kind of pushed out of my whole thinking is, impressing women or worried about what other people think, especially the opposite sex. And so that's helped me to say, okay, well, I'm balding. Hey, you know what? A lot of the times, like you've seen my photos, I'll just keep it bald. When I can shave, I just shave all of this off and I keep it bald. And sometimes you'll see me like that. This applies to you too, because, when you're on the road, what do you need for that? You need energy. Energy is going to be one of the topics. Like I said, I was writing a bunch of stuff down. But it's like, okay, energy. You need resources. You need water. When you first shave, one of the things you say to yourself is, okay, I'm shaving and I don't want to have to keep using up the battery, because maybe some days, you got to have solar. That's a must. And people will say, oh, I don't think I need solar and this. No, you have to have solar. I'm going to, less than 3 minutes, as I do each part of this. So I think your agenda is going to be a minute. It's going to be a couple of parts. And so as I do each part, I'm going to try to dive deeper, segue like that. And so off of the stuff that I'm talking about that's peripheral, like having to do with me and what's going on and whatever, that you can apply to yourself. So, you're going to have to figure out like resources like water. You got to be able to, waste management. That's another topic. Whether it's waste management, like when you finish eating food and stuff that's left over from it, you're throwing it away and you got to get rid of that and, do that correctly. Or whether it's biological materials from your body versus just like food stuff. And so all of these you got to think about ahead of time. So I just sit here like, okay, well, this guy, regardless of him having money, it's just like the particular person I have in mind is like, I just, and this particular person, should I say? Oh no, I'll say it. This particular person is a recording artist. And so, in their songs, they've said, like they were poor, like really poor. And of course I can relate. But it's like, okay, they went from that to billions, and then here I am late in life, and I know all of the stuff about the Illuminati thing and everything and how that's worked against me, but still there's that part of you in your back of your mind. It's like, how much of this is my fault, or did I have control over, or could I have turned left instead of right, ducked instead of jumped, all that stuff like that. And hindsight, people say it's 20/20. Hindsight, can mess you up. Hindsight can make you want to take your life. And like I said in the other thing, about the guy in the TV show and just people in general, like you might be feeling like that. It's like, no, you don't want to do that. You have to know yourself. You have to know how valuable and important you are. And regardless, whatever it is, whatever might have happened to you, whether something really bad happened to you, or whether things are rough for you, tough, like life in general, that you can't say to yourself like, hey, there's maybe, I'm gonna say a Christian, and I believe there's a heaven. So when you die, if you're a good person, you go to heaven. So I'm a good person. All this bad stuff is happening to me. So if I kill myself, that's just one bad thing I've done. Maybe God won't hold that against me, and I'll go to heaven. No, you cannot look at it that way. It's funny how I'm ending it off on this, and I'm about to jump into the other one, and I'll continue from this vein. I forgot what part that's going to be.